What is the pettiest thing you've done after the end of a relationship?
So, like 10 years ago, I was engaged to this woman. Mentally abusive, gaslighting, all that. It was a bad situation. I decided to leave. And, I just took a bag of clothes with me, said I'd be back that weekend to get the rest of my stuff out of her house. And I come back on Friday, all my shit's gone. She went and hid it somewhere, including my 82 Harley Sportster, which I'd put the title up against a banknote a few months prior to pay off some old bills of hers so we could fix her credit and we could buy a house. Anyway, she hides all my shit. I got the cops involved, or tried to, and they said it was a civil matter and I'd have to sue her in small claims. And it was kind of one of those where it just wasn't worth it to have the continued contact with her to try to get all this done. So I signed the title over for the Harley. That's what she was demanding for me, to get the rest of my shit back. Still didn't get all my stuff, but got a good bit more back. So once this is all said and done and I get most of my shit back and sign over the title for the Harley, I remember a couple months prior, we had hit a deer in her car. Well, it ran into the side of her car, dented up the fender and the door, and I was like, I can go to the salvage yard and get a fender and a door. It was a white Mazda, whatever, easy peasy. I could have it fixed in a day. She's like, no, I'm going to get it done at a body shop. Well, she was a head teller at the bank she worked at, vault keys and all that. There was a local body shop guy, and she just had liability insurance on the car. So he tells her, get full coverage and then wait a month and then turn it in and bring it to my shop and I'll get it fixed up for you. I'll cover for it and everything. So after our split and she, basically steals my Harley, I remember this. So I call her insurance company, and I tell them exactly what happened, and I actually sent them text messages as proof and told them what body shop. And then once this was all filed and everything, the insurance went after her for insurance fraud, and then I let the bank know that she was being investigated for insurance fraud. So she actually got dropped from her insurance completely and had to pay out the ass to have vehicle insurance, because she committed insurance fraud, and there was a lot of fines involved, and she lost her job as head teller at the bank. So still my Harley, I'll fuck your world up.
Okay, first of all, I must note that I bought all of these things with my own money. Just some backstory, I lived there on the weekends because I was away at college. We were doing long distance. I was about a week away from moving in fully, and he decided to randomly break up with me when all my things were already there. So I started with the trash cans, but don't worry, I left the trash bags filled with trash and left it on the floor for him because I refused to clean up after a grown man. I took the silverware organizer. I took paper towels and the toilet paper. I took the bath mats. Any food that I bought that did not have to be refrigerated came with me. Took the washer and dryer because my family gave it to me. Any cleaning supplies, including sponges and dish soap. And I took the shower head. Some may say it's petty. I bought the stuff, so it's mine. But at the end of the day, he owed me $700 and he refused to pay me back, and he blocked me on everything instead.
So I was dating this particular ex of mine, and he wasn't aware that I was done with the relationship. He wasn't even home that night. So I packed up all of my stuff. I had arranged for a removal company to come and get my things the next day. He comes back the next morning at 8 o'clock from fuck knows where after he's been with this chick. So I'm checking two places. So I'm checking the place that I'm moving into, and obviously having a look at things at the current place where we're staying. So I'm making sure that everything is running according to plan. I come back, I'm doing my last round. And when I got back, he's busy boiling himself eggs in my pots with eggs that I bought with my damn money, and making himself toast. I switched off the stove. I threw away the water. I took the boiled eggs, I took the raw eggs, I took the toast that he had made, and my petty ass left the motherfucking bowl. So I was dating this particular ex of mine, and he wasn't aware that I was done with the relationship. He wasn't even home that night. So I packed up all of my stuff. I had arranged for a removal company to come and get my things the next day. He comes back the next morning at 8 o'clock from fuck knows where after he's been with this chick. So I'm checking two places. So I'm checking the place that I'm moving into, and obviously having a look at things at the current place where we're staying. So I'm making sure that everything is running according to plan. I come back, I'm doing my last round. And when I got back, he's busy boiling himself eggs in my pots with eggs that I bought with my damn money and making himself toast. I switched off the stove. I threw away the water. I took the boiled eggs. I took the raw eggs. I took the toast that he had made. And my petty ass left the motherfucking bull.
I was absolutely head over heels in love with a narcissist, and we were very toxic and very on and off, and he made me crazy, but I loved him and I wanted to make it work. My brother passed away in January, and our 2-year anniversary was at the beginning of March. So February we went away for a vacation trip to like just get away. I paid for everything, and we took my car, and like I was the money in the relationship at that point. I was paying everything. And we had this great vacation, and on that vacation he proposed, which I thought was weird because we hadn't discussed it, and like whatever. We get back and something just told me like go through his phone, and on the morning of our 2-year anniversary I went through his phone. I found him cheating with multiple people, and because I had just paid for everything, bought him a bunch of stuff on our anniversary trip, and bought him like tons of stuff throughout the relationship, I went to his place and left my engagement ring right there for him and took everything that I had bought. And I told him, if there's anything of yours that you can prove that you bought, I'll give it back. But I had bought everything: underwear, clothes, shoes, everything I bought for him on vacation, like everything, his blankets on his bed, everything that was purchased by me, I took back. And that was, I think, the pettiest thing I've ever done.
Got with the one guy that my ex absolutely loathed. I mean, my ex couldn't even watch this dude walk by without just seething deep in his heart for some reason. And I made that man our son's stepdad. And he goes with me to drop-offs and pickups.
I don't think this was the pettiest thing I've ever done, but it was definitely the funniest. So for those of you who haven't been reading the newspaper, I had a dalliance with a British man this year. A couple of British men, actually. Specifically, we're going to talk about British man number 2. British man number 2 and I love to have serious situationship. We've been in 3. I mean, we've been in situationships 3 times. Important to note, he's British, I am not. He lives in England, I do not. He has a British accent, and I do not. And yes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something to be different. Clearly I thought that he would love me on the 3rd time round. He didn't. Except, actually, he did like to make jokes that he was in love with me. I just thought that was great. So we're on the 3rd serious situationship with British man. And you guessed it, he dumps me. For the 3rd time. Yes, every other time he was the one who dumped me. It's not been a good year. But it's okay because his logic for dumping me this time was really on point. I never came to London. What am I talking about, you might be asking? I'm talking about I never got on an imaginary plane he had created and apparently paid for in his head. He was so mad at me. I, just to be clear, was never coming to London to see him. This was never the plan. Once, before the summer, I told him a work trip might take me there. This was not set in stone. I told him this, and then I told him it was not happening. Then a while goes by, and then he decides to dump me over it. Coincidentally, this was also the same day I had informed him, hey, you're not putting in much effort, and you blame everything on our time difference, and then you only message me when you're in a certain mood. He didn't love that. I'm sure it's completely a coincidence. So he gets very upset, and he says, Lily, I can't do this. You're not coming to London. You've lied to me. I haven't lied to you, buddy. I never told you I was getting on a plane. I can't believe you've teased me like this. You're not coming to London. I can't do this anymore. I hadn't even looked at tickets. So he dumps me. You're dumped. So I stop responding to his messages. I'm like, okay, great, this is over. Mr. Planes Only Fly in One Direction then starts doing this. Pause to read. Mr. Planes Only Fly in One Direction is clearly watching my WhatsApp profile. Fantastic. Let's make it look like I'm in London then, 5 days after we break up. Thank you, Canva, for sponsoring this trip to London with me and my best friend. It worked. He took it well.